Yeah.
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 Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Woo!
Are you hip to this jive yet, dude? Or what?
To this jive honky, jive turkey.
Are you jiving on that? Turkey?
Yeah.
Honky?
Yeah. Yeah. So, ladies and gents, welcome back to another.
Oh, you go. I was like, oh, we gotta get excited. And I said,
Yeah,
hey,
I was trying to get myself all fired up.
get it. Are you ready? Let's try it again.
Hey.
Hold on. Okay.
Hey.
Take a deep breath. 1. Let it all go.
Hey, hey guys.
Okay, now let's go crazy. Was that how to do it?
I don't know, but I got to fart.
Oh my gosh, we're 50 seconds in, 55.
Do you want me to fart into the microphone?
Nope. No, I don't. Joe, no. Joe, you could have just kept quiet about it. You could have just been like, I'm just going to
What fun
be
is
quiet for a minute.
What fun is that? You know what I mean? Look at this here.
What is it, Joe?
Little crown.
Crown. A little crown coat. A bit of crown.
Just crown. Joe. Ow. So anyway, on this little paid portion here, I wanted to ask you after this week, what's up with presidential pardons? Do you think there should be boundaries put on these things?
Yes. I do not think presidents should be able to do this. Or there should be a check against it. Let me just go out on a ledge here. Okay. For you guys, you listen to the paid version because this is like, it's like pickle and boot shop after dark. You're going to hear some bad words. This is what I got to say is fuck Joe Biden. I'm so fucking pissed. I'm so angry at that dude for doing that. Like, what a goddamn fucking hypocrite. What a piece. Oh. Like, I stuck by that dude, like, saying to everyone, he's a good guy. He's like everybody. He reaches across the aisles. Everybody loves him. He seems like grandfatherly. He's good. Got a bit, like half of me is just like losing their mind, like angry at him because I saw the debate and he is senile, or at least has lost the ability to function as a speaking adult. And I, as a liberal for almost all of my life, lost a lot of faith in the Democratic National Convention, Democratic Party, because they just kept on lying to us like, oh, no, he just had an off night. He was traveling 2 weeks ago or whatever shit they were trying to spin. And then suddenly, like, he's so far down in the polls, they realize, okay, we're going to pull him and we're going to let Kamala go, which was great. Like, me, I'm like, and I know like other Republicans are like, you didn't get a choice. And like, I don't care. If my choice is between Donald Trump and a rock with googly eyes on it, I'm picking the rock with googly eyes. I pick like whatever I'm picking versus Donald Trump. That's how I felt. And I think Kamala is off of that. Like, she is wonderful. She's great. I think she is a great person. She's done great things. I think she had good ideas. She was going to do it. I was excited about that, but also super burned by the fact that they lied to us about Joe not being senile. And then I feel like in this time he could have stepped down. He could have been like, you know what? I was senile. I'm going to let Kamala take over. She can be the first woman president for 2 months or whatever the heck. Didn't do that. And what did he do with the remaining time? The thing that he lambasted Trump for, which was talking about pardoning people, said he absolutely would not pardon his son, who's a convicted criminal, who went through the courts and was convicted, eat shit, Joe Biden. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I'm
So mad.
yeah, I understand presidents do it. And like you said, I think there should be like a checks and balances. I think like the presidents need to be able to say, I want whatever, these 20 people pardoned. And then people have to say, yes, I'll sign off on that. And there has to be something. And I know every president does it. I'm not saying it's just Biden. Every president does it. A lot of times people will like the kind of like the what am I trying to get out? Those organizations that work for people who they believe have been unjustly convicted, right? And so I have no problem with those organizations like lobbying the president to say, hey, can you take a look at this? This guy's on death row. There's definitely enough questions to raise to say, hey, let's relook at this. Or, maybe people who have like, say like, somebody in the 80s, like a 20-year-old in the 80s got caught with like a pound of weed and like went to jail for life. It's those types of things. I have no problem the president pardoning them. I have no problem with presidents if it's for a good reason, like commuting the sentence, and people understand what it is. A full pardon is like it never happened. Right? So a full pardon is your pardon. It's not on your record. It's nothing. If you commute the sentence, that means that the person gets let out, but everything is still on their record. So it would show that someone had gone to prison for selling, marijuana when it was illegal and those types of things. So there's two different things. There's a full pardon and then there's commuting of the sentence. And I do find it weird that Biden went all in like on his son. That to me, that's like if a Republican, if anybody did that, it was
for a very specific time, 11 years. Like, what does he know that we don't? Like,
yes,
fuck you, Joe Biden.
Yeah,
your son's a criminal. Like all this shit
blanket
that
pardon. Yeah,
all this moral justice and all this moral fabric and the rule of law that I, as a Democrat, believed in, that you've been selling me. What the fuck, dude? What is that? 11 years. I'm pardoning him for all crimes for the last 11 years that we don't know. And all this bullshit about his laptop and the Ukrainian stuff that we're like, no, this is just a distraction. Is it? Jeez.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Joe Biden.
It's crazy. And, there's talk that, Trump is going to pardon. I've heard rumblings. Now, I'm not in any pipeline, okay?
Hey,
I'm not in any pipeline.
While we're there, let's just make sure that the difference is Joe Biden, we're like, okay, you're taking the moral high ground. We don't expect Trump to. We expect him to pardon all the January 6 people, everyone, Matt Gaetz, anyone. He's going to do it, whoever's loyal to him. That's what makes me so mad about Joe Biden is like, if you say you're something, then be it. And whoever is running his program, like whatever handlers or whoever in his cabinet is calling the shots, fuck those guys. I'm so mad. Like, this is not democracy anymore.
No, when people start doing that, that's a jury of their peers convicted them. And, and for Biden, what sucks is it would still suck if like Hunter Biden, if his last name wasn't Biden, right? So let's say it's Hunter Jones, and he did all this laptop and computer stuff, and he had all these connections with China and blah, 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 blah. And he was pardoned. You'd look at that and you'd go, you know what? That's politics. That's politics. Take care of each other. And you wouldn't like it, but you would be like, that's politics. That's that gross world of politics that everybody hates. That's that drain the swamp. The fact that it was his son And then obviously the rumblings and the talk for years has been his son was the middleman, the bag man, as they say, for Joe Biden. So all these connections in China, everything, the money was being filtered back to the Biden family through Hunter. So that's what makes it suck even more, is that it's the family. And so you look at it and you step back, and generations from here on out. So another way that I'm going to put it is like this: like if Joe Biden, like I said, gave a full pardon to Hunter Jones, 20 years from now, no one's going to remember Hunter Jones. But 200 years from now, when people look back in American history, the 46th president of the United States gave like a full pardon, and not only a full pardon, but in an 11-year blanket to his son.
Yeah.
And you look at that, and that's some like North Korea nonsense.
Agreed. I agree. Straight up.
The Kim Un and the Kim Jong-il, that's like what their families would do and stuff. And it's just it just makes politics gross.
Okay. And also throw this in. I agree with you, Joe, but like, not just politics is gross. I don't think politics is gross. I think like I think it has been gross. It has the potential for grossness. And us saying, like, you're the president, you can pardon anyone you want, but like, just remember, it's your legacy. That is the only check and balance we have, and that sets somebody up to be gross. Okay, like we set that up. Somebody's gonna. We gave the devil a foothold in our Constitution. We did this. Jeez, Joe. But like for me, what I have felt is that like the stuff about Hunter Biden is a distraction, or the Russians spend billions of dollars. The Chinese and the North Koreans, all of them spend billions of dollars to spread disinformation in the United States, to get on TikTok, to get on Facebook, to make fake posts, to have people on Facebook who are fake. It's been found out. Like our government, our spy agencies, the FBI are like 3 steps behind on like what are the Russians doing now to sow disinformation. But we do know there's like this enormous history of the Soviet Union, like completely doing all these things to make us hate each other, to make us fight against each other, to create race wars, to create political wars, to do all this stuff. Like there are outside forces. And so for me, I'm like, you know what? I believe that Americans are good. We want good. We want to help each other. We want to help other people. We don't want to see people starve, and we don't want war. Like all of us feel the same on these things, but then you see this stuff happening in this world where everything is like on social media, and it comes out like 2 years later, like Facebook is having a crackdown because half of these people that are writing political posts are Russian operatives, or like Russian operatives getting into lobbyist organizations and pushing us further. Like let's fight about guns. Let's like make posts that Obama's coming to take your guns, or like now you can make fake videos about anything. You can clone anyone's voice. You can make a video of like Kamala and Tim Walz saying, we're going to come take your guns, even though they're on record saying they're both gun owners and they're not going to take anybody's guns. They don't want to diminish anybody's Second Amendment rights. All they want is a better system of keeping guns away from criminals. The only thing that they've ever said, which is totally, I think both sides could agree on, we don't want criminals to have guns. But like that shit gets spun so far out of control because what I thought Russians are in there. You know, like they're in there on social media. They're making all these fake videos. They're making all these posts. They're acting like Americans who are getting incensed. They put operatives into, you know, these lobbyist organizations. We catch them 10% of the time, but they're there. It's there all the time trying to make us hate each other or fight against each other. That's there. What I thought all that stuff was about Hunter Biden, and I could still be right. Like it's fake and it is from these foreign operatives trying to make us fight against each other. But that's what I thought that was. And now I'm like, dude, you just fucked us all. Like, we're done. There is like, I hope to God, to dear Jesus, that the Democratic Party in the United States just quits. Like they just stop. They're just like, everybody in the room, get out. Like we're gonna repopulate this with good people because all of them are so fucking corrupt. I cannot believe that. I can't believe the party allowed that. You know, like I think that like all these people keep coming out in you know, like in podcasts I listen to, like Jon Stewart, they're just questions about how did Trump win? You know, like why? He seems like a egotistical maniac. What did we do wrong? And what we did wrong is that, like, it's a bunch of people that are claiming to be righteous who are not. Like, they're in the back pocket of every lobbyist in the world. Every corporation that can pay them money is running this country. And I think, like, people voted for Trump because they want something different. They want to shake that up. And
Exactly.
That's what he's claiming to do, is like, he's going to drain the swamp. I don't trust it, but like, I get it. I understand it. I'm so pissed. Like,
Yeah.
if only I will give Joe Biden this. Thank you for opening our eyes to how corrupt the Democratic Party is. Like, how corrupt you are. Like, how lacking of virtue you are. Thank you. I cannot believe that.
Yeah, that was a bombshell that I had, you know, to start off the week, hearing that and seeing that. I couldn't believe it. And yeah, I think you said it all. I don't really have much more to add on to that, except, you know, piling on or, you know, whatever the case may be. But I find it disgusting. And I find exactly what you said about, like, online. And I think over the years, like, our arguments, like the stuff that me and you kind of go back and forth on, I feel like it's those bots, it's those Russian and Chinese bots that put the hype and the hate and all of that stuff on the internet. Like, I think it's the Russian bots, it's the Chinese bots that make the Trumpy people so Trumpy. Like, I don't think those are like real people. I think there are people like that out there. And I always say it. It's like the 10, the 80, and the 10, right? 10%, 80%, 10%. I think 80% of this country are good, awesome people that when they think where they want to vote, it kind of fits within like just a little bit, right?
Right.
It's just
you got two choices.
Degrees.
So you pick the one that you're just like,
there you go.
I hate this one the least.
Yep. You got two choices. So it's usually like a 51-49 vote, or maybe you're like a 60-40. Maybe you're even a 70-30. But it's got to be within that. And then I think there's the 10% on the left, the 10% on the right that are fueled by bots. And the people that take that bait, I can't defend that. I can't, like, if there's some Trumpy person out there that thinks that, like, oh my gosh, like, my kid's gonna, you know, my son's gonna be turned into a girl, and there's gonna be girls in the locker room, like all these like things that like these crazy like right, you know,
I'm
right
glad you
people
see
think.
this.
No, that's what I've said for years, though, Reese. It's
Okay.
like, I don't buy into that. I think those 10 and 10 read that bot. I don't swear a whole lot on here. I think they read that bot shit and they go batshit. Like, and it's the normal people that, you know, have their discussions like you. Like, you may have, like, when it comes to guns, like you've in the last year, you like your gun thing is different than I think most listeners of this podcast would have thought you would have done. So everybody kind of shocks. Everybody kind of goes one way, another way, you know, in different areas of their lives. And then you vote the way that the party that you want or the person that you want aligns up with most. So if there's 20 things out there and your person is 11 of the 20, then you're going to vote that person. If your person is 18 of the 20 and they really align with what you like, then you're going to vote for that person. I think that's how 80% of the country is. And it's those crazies that divide everybody. It's the crazies that we hate. You know, when Republicans talk about Democrats, it's that 10%. When Democrats talk about Republicans in a bad light, it's that far 10%. And most of the time, it's the bots. People are fired up about stuff that they read online, and it's people making stuff up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Agreed.
you know, I would love it. You know, I would love it moving forward. And I know this is a stupid thing and everybody's always said it and it sounds corny, but I would just love if people to just like, I know Trump won. I know, right? Trump won. So, but
Yes.
even if Kamala would have won, I would have said, can we just like clean the slate? Can we clean the slate? Stop basing our fears off of stuff that we're reading online and base it off of like what we're living, right? And when I live my everyday and I go to diners and people are opening the door for it doesn't matter who, right? When you're talking to trans people and you're talking to you know, whatever, I never see disrespect. I never see hate. Like in my everyday, when I go to the library, when I go to a diner, when I go to work and I'm in the community, I'm not seeing this hate that like if I come home and go online, that's what I'm seeing. Because you know, you got all these keyboard warriors and all these bots that are just fueling a fire of divide. And I'm, like I said, whether Kamala won or Trump won, it just happened that the person I voted for won, because I know there's someone at home going, well, the reason you're saying that is because your guy won. Okay, I get what you're saying. But take my word for it, even if Kamala would have won, I was going to sit back and say, okay, what am I not seeing here? What can I do moving forward to reduce this divide? And, you know, I'm tired of it. Like, I'm tired of it as a country. I'm tired of a two-party system. I'm, you know, it's bananas.
Yeah. I mean, there's part of me that like, now my caveat is, I don't know if I've said this on the podcast before, probably, but like when my kids are like, Dad, are monsters real? The only thing that popped in my head is Donald Trump. I really, really think he is I don't want to say he's like, that he is not saved or that he is not redeemable, but like, if I can think of like the worst people, I think of him. I think he really is a rapist. I think he got away with it. I think he took his dad's money. I think he's a grifter. I think he lies to people. He's guilty of all these crimes. I think he got famous by saying Obama wasn't an American, which is an evil thing. But like, if he does what he says he's going to do, like if he cleans out like all the bureaucracy and all the bullshit that goes on in government, if he can do half of that, that's incredible. He should be like the greatest president of all time. If he can fix that. I don't think he will. I hope he will. And like, I think that's where most people who didn't vote for him are at. We're just like, we don't have a choice. We can't leave, most of us. We're going to see if it happens. And then like, if he goes after brown people or he goes after gay people or trans people, then I'm going to stand in the way. I hope he is what he says. I hope he's like, he's going to go in there and like, he's gotten his ego stroked enough by getting a second election, and he'll let that go, and then he'll do something good. I hope. But like, I'm with you. Like, had Kamala won, I think it would just be business as usual. It'd be the same thing, same shit that Joe Biden was doing, which is like barely ticking things along, and then trying to keep the economy moving.
Yeah. Because the thing that bothered me, I hate that. What bothered me about like if Kamala was going to win was like leading up to the election, the commercials and stuff that I would see on television. And it's like, she's like, I have an economic plan to bring the country back, you know, to bring inflation, like all this stuff. And it's like, you're the vice president. You're the vice president and the president's senile. Where is this plan?
Yeah,
you've had 4 years. If you have a really good idea, if you're like little group of vice president, I think of the TV show Veep and like her little group. Like if your little group is sitting on $1 million idea, $1 trillion idea to help this country, why aren't you doing it now? Why weren't you doing it 2 years ago and saying, Joe, yeah, you're senile. Everybody knows it. Hey, you guys, we're doing this. We're doing A, B, C, D, and E to bring inflation down. We're doing yada, yada, yada. Like, why do you have to be the president specifically if your party is in there and you're in the, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, that's what I didn't understand. Like all these things that she was saying on her commercials, I just sit there and I'm like, you're in. You're the vice president.
Why hasn't this happened?
Yeah. Can you raise your hand at the next staff meeting and say, hey, when they're like, hey, any new business? Yeah, I got one, you know?
I mean, maybe Biden's presidency isn't like that. Like anybody got any good ideas? Like maybe it's just like, you got to get behind this or you're out.
And like, that's exactly that in a roundabout way is kind of what I'm saying. I don't think it's one person. I think it's the machine of the party is where the Democrats are right now. So the Democratic Party was on this runaway vehicle with no brakes.
They're still on it. Like nobody has been like, hey, we're cleaning this out. And nobody's coming forward and being like, well, they told me to say this or I wouldn't get votes. Nobody.
Like, yeah, it's
not a single person.
This runaway vehicle with
Bernie
no
Sanders
brakes
is not coming forward and being like, hey, the whole system is corrupt and rigged. And they took me out of the presidential election because I wouldn't get it. And we had to get behind this.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody is saying anything. I'm with you, dude.
And you know, the Republicans' back was broken at the last election, you know, where Biden was voted in. So the Republicans had to sit there and go, what is going on? And then the primaries, like the main thing that kicked the Republicans' butt in the primaries was what? Abortion. Like that destroyed in the primaries and all that stuff in the midterm elections and whatnot. Abortion. So within like a year and a half, the Republicans are like, okay, hold up. Like, we're not in this. If a woman gets an abortion, she's going to like, this is not what we stand for. And suddenly like Republicans start coming out like, okay. I know there's some that think absolute ban, but that is not the majority. You know, like most Republicans think incest and rape. Yes, absolutely. Like we understand that. We understand it. Do I like that a baby has to lose its life? No, I don't. Do I understand because of rape or incest? Yes. And that's what, 0.001% of all abortions? I understand the medical stuff. I get that. If there's complications due to pregnancy, I get that. What I don't like is you just using it for birth control. I don't like that. And again, you're someone who wants to come at me and argue with me that there's not an argument. I'm just saying I don't like that. I don't like it. Period.
Agreed.
Right?
I mean, like,
but
the argument
Republican Party had to come back and say that. Like, they had to look in themselves and say, look, man, if we're going out on this limb of absolutely zero abortions and we're getting obliterated. Like, we need to start actually speaking truth and from our heart and not going with what the party is saying. And then all of a sudden, people start winning elections because they're like, I'm Republican, but I'm pro-choice. Or I'm Republican, and this is my stance on abortion. And then all of a sudden, those people started winning. Yeah.
No, I just, like, this is a side quest, but like on the abortion thing, the whole issue, which never gets addressed, it never gets talked about, is like for Democrats or people on the left, they're always like, you're taking away women's rights to her own body, to her own autonomy. And the Republicans are like, you're murdering babies. Or the right is like, it's murder. Both of those things are not the issue. Like, neither one of those things is what we're talking about. And like, if we talk about the real thing, then it stops. Like, we agree. If Republicans are like, hey man, I think there's a soul in there. I think that is a person. I think there is a soul. And Democrats are like, okay, well, I don't. Like, I don't. So either I don't believe in a soul and I'm going to go to science and I'm going to prove this, or I don't believe that's when a soul starts and I'm going to go to science and I'm going to be able to back this up and we can do this. Because, like, I think, honestly, as a Christian who's been on both sides of the thing, you cannot make a good biblical argument for the soul beginning at the moment of conception. You can be like, here's a couple verses I pulled way out of, like, Jeremiah to show that he was a good prophet, or John the Baptist kicking when, like when Jesus was there. But, like, it's not saying, hey man, don't do this. There are verses in the Bible, one verse, it says, like, for someone who doesn't want a baby, like, they drink all this stuff and then it'll flush it out. So it's basically like, go ahead and give yourself an abortion. We don't talk about that. But, like, what we all as Christians are upset about is, like, this is a soul. Like, is this sacred or not? If it is, then when does it not become sacred? Or when does it become sacred? Like, is it the potential for a human being? Because I think for people on the left, the potential for a human being is a good, like, that's what they believe. I believe in the potential for this human being. I want this human being to have the best chance at life I can give it. So I'm not ready for it. I'm going to wait. Or this is, as soon as that baby comes out, it's a human, but it's not yet. Or maybe in the third trimester or the second trimester, it becomes this human. Nobody knows what they're talking about. Nobody reading the Bible knows what they're talking about. Like, nobody is certain it says when your soul starts. Nobody. And you can be like, I have faith in this, but, like, where is your faith? Did you read a verse that said that? Because there isn't one. And, on the left, like, are you certain there is no such thing as a human soul? And are you certain when that soul begins or doesn't begin? Because, like, there is tons of actual literal science that says people have had near-death experiences. They've experienced things after life, that people report their souls coming out of their body or seeing, like having all these experiences where we would attribute that to a soul, or, like in science, they call it your mind, but that your consciousness can be separate from your body. There is tons of evidence to show that this can be scientifically reported on and proven. What is that? Like, you as a Democrat, what is going on? You as a scientist, like, what is that? What does that mean? And then, like, what then? Like, when does that start? And what are you doing? Like, if you're saying, like, this woman has autonomy over that, what does that mean about that? And I think that's the argument that we miss. I'm not trying to say you can't have a choice or autonomy over your body, but, like, if what you make is a soul at the moment of conception, we need to be more careful with what we're doing. And I definitely think that that should fall on guys too. Like, we need to figure this out. Like, that is the most important thing. Is that a soul? When does the soul start? What are we doing? Like, this is super important. And that's the thing about going back, circle, Joe, to politics, is we're not going to do that because it is a way to get votes. It is definitely a way to get votes to tell somebody that the government is coming to take away your rights to your own body. And it is definitely a way to get votes to say that Democrats are murdering babies. Sorry, I soapboxed.
No, I mean, this show is soapboxing, right? It's beatboxing and soapboxing.
That's what it is.
But no, I mean, I think what you said is legit. I think that's a legit thing to talk about, that it's not, I think, yeah, I'm not going to try and sum it up. I'm not going to try and say something else, because I think what you said is very good.
I remember
what's that?
I just, before we close it out, I just want to say, like, I don't have a right to say one way or another, what is right. But I do feel like we should focus on this and figure it out. Like, the whole aspect of whether or not we are souls or we have souls, and when that starts, like when we are in our bodies, when is that? We need to ask that question. But I just like, my only weight on it is that, like, before my daughters were born, I was further to the left on this. Like, I am super pro-choice. And now my kids were born, and I just remember when Lyndon, the day I held her, just being like, obviously there is a person in here. There's a soul. This is a human. This is a soul. And terrified of just how flippant I had been about, like, before that, like, I don't know when it starts. Like, this is political and let's just do it. But, like, to see that person that my daughter is be there. She's there. Like with Era, it took a couple months, and then I was like, oh yeah, that's the kid. Like, she was a baby, and you'd be like, I don't know if she knows what's going on. And then all of a sudden she was herself. She's Era. But Lyndon from day one has always been the same person. Like, not able to talk, barely moving and stuff, but, like, it's that same soul that I love, that same person. And to be so careless as to make this into a political argument just is terrifying to me. To make us divided about this and hate each other over this, it is so awful,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So black.
no, that's fine. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't have anything to add to that. Reese, thank you for that. Thank you for sharing your feelings and opening up on the cast. I think with that, we're gonna bring this little Patreon to an end.
All right, man. Love you, dude.
Love you too, brother.
But just friends.
Well, more than that.
A little bit more.
More than friends.
More than friends.